Okay, now that we have our stored procedures all executed, and again, you would create these once, right? This is something that you would just run one time, okay? And then you're going to call that stored procedure in your application. You can test it by executing it in here, by executing a USC update student and passing parameters to it, sort of what we did in our select statements. But as you see here, I have my stored procedures now all part of my database DBMS College. Now the question is, how do we call these things? Well, I just showed you how we called it in a previous videos. I showed you how we called it for an insert. Well, the update and delete's no different, and so this is going to be a really short video. You're probably happy about that. And really, I'm just going to show you the same thing, what you would do on the button update student here, or for your update, the same type of thing. You would create all the variables needed. You would do a command to update the student, okay? Have the rows affected. A lot of this stuff is just cut and paste. You would validate the data entered to make sure it's good. You probably have already done that for your project. So with that said, instead of executing the USP add student, you would execute USP update student. Pass those same parameters, everything over, okay? You do want to make sure you get the primary key in this case, okay? You want to pass that one. So this is one where, see, we're in our insert, we didn't have a primary key, right? Because we got that from our max. Well, in this case here, you got the primary key probably from a drop down or something. So based upon that, the key of the particular student, or maybe in your case, the pilot or the passenger or so on, you would populate this primary key and pass that over. Does that make sense? You would do the exact same thing for a delete. You would execute USP delete student and only pass this primary key. Okay, so you would stop right there. All this goes away. Makes sense? You would update a few more things here. You would have this a CMD update student or CMD add student, or delete student, I should say. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing right there. And then you would update the command that you're actually doing with the execute non-SQL. You probably change your output here, saying insert successful player. You would say in this case, update successful or whatever, update failed, however you want to state it. Does that make sense? It's really the same thing in regards to how you execute it. So the code that you would replace for your insert, you would replace the exact same code in your updates. You basically did this in your inline type stuff, executing these queries. Executing execute non-queries, but you just set it up a little bit differently. Absolutely, it's almost the same as the insert. All right. I don't want to make it any harder than that because it's not. It's absolutely the same thing. You can cut and paste this in both places, your update and delete, and then again, modify. Just make sure this primary key is populated with either from your dropdown, okay, or from your global variable based upon how we did that, where you actually logged in and you used a global variable. Just make sure the primary key is updated. So you probably set that right here one way or the other, okay? int ptkid equals the global variable, or int pkid equals a combo box, dot text or whatever. You get or selected item, selected index, however you want to do that. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you're from a combo box or your global variable, you'll set this prior to doing it for both the update and delete. Not for the add, because we're not passing a parameter for that, just for that. Okay, hope I didn't confuse you here. I just decided just to kind of show you what we already had, since it's pretty much the exact same thing. Allow you to go ahead and try that and update your projects with these stored procedures. Okay?